Alright guys, part 2 of my best smells ever video is on now, so stay tuned to find out 25 more niche best smelling fragrances ever for me coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. Yes, I did a video last weekend, Saturday, for my best smells ever, part 1 of the niche video. This is part 2 of the niche video. And then I'm doing a few more of these videos, more designer focused, but I'm going to take a few weeks break, do a few other videos, and then come back to those. But before I get to the fragrances, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you still haven't subscribed to the channel, please do click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. And best smells ever would probably also refer to something like, you know, instant love kind of thing. Some of these are like that, but these are the best smelling fragrances. I really think these smell great. At least to me they do. Everybody reacts to fragrances differently. This is very subjective. For me, these are the best smelling fragrances. I'm going to start off with the first one. I do have one Creed. This is the Creed Royal Oud. Best smelling Creed fragrance to me. There are a few that are vaulted, which I like a little more, but I'm talking about fragrances that are not, you know, vaulted or discontinued. This is still selling. I love this one. Reminds me of my home country of Lebanon, the cedar tree. This is a cedar fragrance, but it's not just cedar, it's a lot more. Cedar, pink pepper, sandalwood, musk, angelica, galbanum, lemon, oud. And I do experience the lemony touches with the green galbanum and angelica kind of notes in here with the spicy touches. And I always say that I'm not really big on cedary smells. This is probably one of the best cedar fragrances. Creed Royal Oud, one of the best smells ever. I absolutely love it. This next fragrance is probably one of my favorite citrus fragrances as a smell. Performance is not what I'm talking about here. These are the best smells ever, and this LABO's Bergamot 22 is one of the best smelling citrus fragrances for me. Absolutely a delicious, really fantastic smelling citrus fragrance. Features notes of bergamot, vetiver, grapefruit, orange blossom, petitgrain. Great contrast of notes, flowers, juicy citruses, and leaves together to create one amazingly beautifully smelling fragrance. Bergamot 22. One of the best smells ever to me. This next one was long discontinued, but then they brought it back as an exclusive, boutique exclusive and an online exclusive by this brand. It's Jo Malone's Wild Fig and Cassis. This is how I fell in love with fig fragrances, because this stuff smells fantastic. I love it. It's this kind of mossy green smelling, kind of dusty green smelling fig leafy smell with a light fruity undertone, but it features wild fig, pine, musk, cassis, and cedarwood. For one amazing smelling fig fragrance, I really love the way this smells because I love the fig leaves, and this does really remind me of smelling them off of the tree with a light fruitiness. So this is Wild Fig and Cassis from the house of Jo Malone. Again, it was discontinued, but it's been brought back, so you can buy it again now. This next one's from the house of NEELA VERMEIRE. This is Bombay Bling, and I fell in love with this. Probably I smelled it at Javoy in Paris, but I didn't really react to it because it was cold. This really comes alive in the heat, and I think I fell in love with it when I experienced it when it was warm outside. This is Bombay Bling, so it's a very tropical fragrance. It's a hot, humid kind of fragrance. Features mango, lychee fruit, vanilla, black currant, frangipani, tuberose, ylang ylang, sandalwood. So very, very juicy, fruity, but lots of flowers. Very tropical, kind of beachy. No marine notes or things like that, but really experiences tropical. So tropical flowers and fruits together makes for a great combination. NEELA VERMEIRE's Bombay Bling. What a fabulous smell this is. One of the best smells ever for me. This next one, if I can grab it, is from the house of Kerosene, Unknown Pleasures. Great gourmand fragrance. It's almost like a lemon chiffon cake or pie or whatever. It's got this kind of doughy, cookie-like smell, or bready kind of cakey-like smell, contrasted with lemons. And I love lemony things to begin with. I'm Mediterranean after all. Lemons, caramel, vanilla, bergamot, tea, tonka beans, and honey for a great gourmand experience. If you like the idea of gourmand fragrances that are lemony, this is definitely one for you to try. Kerosene, Unknown Pleasures. Fantastic fragrance. I really love the way that smells. This next one's probably one of the best vanilla fragrances. This is Indult's Tijota, this one right here. For a really delicious kind of a boozy, musky, vanillic experience. Very, very yummy. I mean, it's one of the best fragrances featuring vanilla, and it's just authentic vanilla. Really beautifully gorgeous, created by Francis Kurkdjian for Indult, and I think he did these just before he launched his own brand, so he's probably working on these fragrances, the first 4 fragrances, or maybe I think he's done 5, but there's only 4 in existence currently, and then he launched his brand. But he did a great job with this. It features vanilla and musk, so it's just like an authentic musky smell. Really, really gorgeous. It's one of the best vanilla fragrances out there. Indult's Tihota, a great vanilla fragrance. Now this next one, I hear there's some hype around this one, and there are no bottles left. I was about to buy my mom a bottle of it, but I couldn't find any. Somebody's done some kind of a thing, a TikTok thing, and the fragrance is completely sold out globally. This is État Libre d'Orange's You or Someone Like You for a really, really great authentic smelling mint. Here I've opened up the bottle, I'm shaking it like this, I can smell that mint hitting my nose, and it's really, really delicious. And mint is also one of my favorite herbs because we consume it in my culture. It's like one of the things that you put on the table and eat with your food, and I really like the fact that this smells very, very authentic, minty, not like toothpaste. But it's very, very fresh. It's lots of mint, grapefruit, green notes, white musk, and rose. I think it's a kind of fragrance you can wear over, like spray over and over again, like overspray it, and it won't like interfere. It's a very, very pleasant smell. It's also very, very fresh, and it's very aromatic and you know, refreshing kind of an experience. You or Someone Like You from État Libre d'Orange. I hope they bring bottles back soon in stock because I don't know what's going on with that, but it's definitely sold out a lot of places. The next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is Santa Maria Novella's Tabacco Toscano. This was an instant love for me when I first went to their boutique in Cannes. They have a boutique in Cannes, France, although they're from Florence, obviously. But I was going through their whole entire collection because that's where I ran into one of their stores, and I immediately fell in love with this tobacco. It was kind of like a creamy, sandalwoody, gaiac woody kind of an experience. There's a kind of a creaminess under there with the tobacco, but it's vanilla, tobacco, birch leaf, bergamot, amber, malt, and jasmine. But a beautiful combination. It is eau de cologne, but it really does smell really beautifully gorgeous. It's the kind of tobacco that's also not ashy, so it kind of goes into that gourmand direction. This is Santa Maria Novella's Tabacco Toscano. Wonderful, wonderful fragrance. Where is the next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about? It's right here. This is Parfums de Nicolai's Patchouli Intense. So somebody had asked me the other day when I did my chocolate cake patchouli fragrance video if I can do a green patchouli fragrance video, and if I did ever do that, this would definitely fall under that. This Patchouli Intense is like you're entering a patchouli, a green patchouli forest that's like overrun with patchouli and growth with other aromatic herbs and things like that. It's earthy and green with lots of patchouli, geranium, lavender, cinnamon, sandalwood, amber, and rose, and it's the patchouli with the combination of the geranium and lavender that gives you that very green experience, herbal, very aromatic, also spicy, but also earthy with the patchouli. It's a great scent. Definitely not chocolate cakey patchouli here. Parfums de Nicolai, this is Patchouli Intense. This next one I haven't spoken about in a long time, but I was going through my, you know, library of perfumes, and I was like, whoa, that's a great fragrance. I remember buying this in Germany, in Berlin. It's an Austrian brand. It's KNIZE 10 Golden Edition. So KNIZE 10 exists as a KNIZE 10, but I fell in love with the Golden Edition, and it was an instant buy when I was in Berlin one year. But it's a great leather. It's such a great leather. Smells really, really like one of those classic leather fragrances. Leather, castoreum, oak moss, carnation, iris, amber, vanilla, cedar, musk, and sandalwood. The combination is amazing. It's very, very sexy, but it's also warm and spicy with ambery touches along with the leather and the castoreum. Beautiful fragrance. If you don't know this one, check it out. KNIZE 10 Golden Edition. It's an Austrian brand. So apparently a few folks said that I was saying best smells ever in my last video, so I guess I won't say it as much today, but these are the best smells ever for me, and you know, I really enjoy some of these fragrances, and I think they're really, really great smells. I just think they're really authentically amazing. This next one is more of a minimalistic fragrance, but it has a great smell. If you're kind of anosmic to minimalistic fragrances, you might not smell this one, and I kind of tried to avoid putting a lot of minimalistic fragrances in this video, but I find this one to smell amazing. This is Diaz & Durga's I Don't Know What. It's more of a primer or a layering fragrance, but on its own, in the heat. It smells super sexy. This is ISOE Super, Bergamot, Vetiver Acetate, Ambrox, and Civitone. Amazing combination. Wear it on its own to smell sexy and minimalistic. Put it or layer it with other fragrances, and, you know, to enhance it, to prime it, to boost it up, and you know, create a unique fragrance combination with it. Wonderful fragrance, one of the best smells ever. I don't know what from, DS and Durga. This next one is from the house of Acro. This is Smoke, and this one was an instant love. And it shines in the heat. I've featured it in humid weather fragrances. It really does shine in humid weather fragrance. I mean, humid temperatures. But this Acro Smoke features notes of Balkans tobacco leaves, nicotine, cade, benzoin, and tonka beans. It's a great combination. When the smoke wears off, because it will eventually wear off, it wears off more in the heat, and it leaves you with a fragrance that kind of hints at tobacco vanille. But when it's cold outside and not too hot, that smoke smell lingers on and it doesn't bloom as much. So just be warned about that. But it's a really, really great tobacco-ish fragrance. I actually recently featured it in my underrated tobacco fragrances video. But wonderful fragrance. Smoky tobacco, Acro Smoke, one of the best smells ever. This next one's from the house of Marlou, Paris. This is Carnicure. This used to be called L'Animal Sauvage. And this is your kind of like more skanky relative of original Musk from Kiehl's. It's definitely a little more daring, a little more authentic smelling, but I really love this musk. It wears beautifully. It's very, very sexy, as I said. It features animalic notes, musk, sweet notes, woody notes. So the combination of animalic notes, musk, and sweet notes I think really does work great together. And there's some woody touches, and of course a little ambery touches as well. Wonderful, wonderful fragrance. If you're looking for an alternative to original musk, because I hear people say it does not last, check this one out. It is a little pricier, but it smells really like authentic musk. This is Marlou, Paris, Carnicure. Really, really fantastic smelling fragrance. This next one is from the house of Rosendo Matu. This is number 5, one of the best smells ever here for me. I think it's a very, very sexy amber. It's like not overwhelming, but still oomphy. Very, very sensual smelling, but you know, kind of masculine at the same time because it's got these contrasting notes, but it's beautiful flowers, spices, amber, musk, vanilla, carnation, lily of the valley for a one-of-a-kind ambery, you know, experience. Warm and spicy, but musky at the same time. One of the best smells ever. I think it's just smells really, really amazing. This is Rosendo Matu number 5. If you don't know it, do check it out. They're selling that at Lucky Scent now if you're in the States, so you can always go there and check them out. This next one's from the house of Penhaligon'S. This is Blenheim Bouquet. So this is one of the first fragrances I bought from Penhaligon'S back in the late 90s. So I've known about this brand since then, and I love their fragrances. And the current formulation of this still smells great. It's a very lemony experience with lemons, lime, pine, black pepper, lavender. This might lean a little masculine, but it's all citruses. There's aromatic touches in there, and it also is a little astringent with this, you know, tartness. But it's a great wear in the heat. The citruses really bloom. So a great smelling fragrance. I really love it. It's one of the best smells ever. It's Penhaligon'S Blenheim Bouquet. I really love that one. This next one is from the house of Maison Berdu. This is Selva do Brazil. You know, I really can't get enough of the way this stuff smells. It smells like really authentic smelling orange leaves crushed up into a bottle of perfume. So it's basically featuring notes of Petitgrain, tonka beans, gaiac wood, but you do get some juicy citruses in there. You do get some light ambery touches, and then also a little bit of spiciness in there, but it's all Petitgrain. Lots of Petitgrain, woody, earthy, bitter, but tonka beans and gaiac wood. Fantastic smell. Maison Berdu Selva do Brazil smells like authentic crushed citrus or orange leaves. As I said earlier, I'm only featuring fragrances that are still available and sold, and they still smell great. I'm not featuring things that have been reformulated to death, kind of a thing, that are still selling. For example, something like Polo, the original green Polo, I wouldn't include that because it doesn't smell great right now. It did at one time. But this next fragrance is from the house of Marc-Antoine Barrois. This is Ganymede. What a great fragrance this is. One of the best smells ever. It's sexy, musky, it's minerally, it's ozonic, it's kind of dried leafy, all at the same time. Also lightly fruity with mineral notes, violet leaf, immortelle, mandarin, osmanthus, saffron, suede. It's super sexy, it's very, very classy, it's elegant, and I think these Marc-Antoine Barrois fragrances are masculine targeted. concentrated. I think this one can be pulled off by women too. It's a really, really great fragrance. There is a very kind of a crunchy, appley kind of a crispness in there with the muskiness and the minerality of the notes. Great fragrance. Marc-Antoine Barrois Ganymede. What a great fragrance this is. This is a more recent discovery, and it's turned out to be my favorite fragrance from this house. It's really delicious. This is Rouge Sarré from the house of Atelier des Ors for a great smelling gourmand. Fruity, spicy, ambery, kind of a gourmand amber style fragrance featuring jasmine, cinnamon, plum, heliotrope, date, patchouli, peru balsam, sandalwood, vanilla, and gaiac wood. Oh my god, it's a really, really delicious experience. I really think this is becoming one of my favorite gourmand fragrances, but it's not over the top gourmand, it's more ambery. The dates and the fruits come in as well for a beautiful, beautiful experience. And that bottle, look at this. It's so good. Rouge Sarré is my favorite fragrance now from Atelier des Ors, and it used to be Lune Feline. So this next one's from the house of Amouage. I'm featuring Interlude 53, but I think Interlude overall for men is a great best smells ever. It's also a very unique smell and also a contrasting smell because they've combined notes together that are not traditionally done. Who mixes oregano with, you know, leather and amber, Papanax resins? And the combination really, really does work. And in the Interlude 53, which is the more concentrated Extrait de Parfum concentration version, over the top amazing quality. But this features Papanax, oregano, leather, incense, agarwood smoke, amber, cistus labdanum, pimento berry. Great fragrance. That's why they have 3 different versions of this now. The original, the iris one, and then now the over-the-top amazing luxury version of Interlude Man. This is Interlude 53 from Amouage. This next one's probably my very first niche. I shouldn't say the very first, because I used to wear fougères back in the 80s, but I really didn't know that anything about fougères until when I started getting into the community and really digging into perfumes, and I was like, this is a classic fragrance, I gotta buy it. Houbigant's Fougère Royale is one of the best smells ever, and it features lots of lavender, it features like the geranium, oak moss, bergamot, carnation, and things like that, but a really wonderful fragrance, very classy to wear. This is a masculine fragrance. If a woman likes it, let her wear it, but I think it leans masculine, but it's probably one of the best smells ever. I really like the combination of lavender, geranium, oak moss, bergamot, tonka beans, and things like that to create this kind of like fern-like smell. If ferns really had a fragrant smell. Either way, Fougère Royale. So I'm going to the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian once again, and I wanted to feature Absolute Pour le Soir, but it has now been discontinued. So it became Grand Soir eventually, so I'm going with Grand Soir, but I think it really is a great warm ambery resinous experience. It does really smell great. So it features amber, benzoin, vanilla, tonka beans, labdanum. When I wear this fragrance, I feel like the ambery touches have a coating or dusting of chocolate or cacao. That's the kind of amber this is, but it's very warm, it's spicy, it's resinous, it's balsamic, and it's a beautiful combination of notes. He did do a great job with this one. Absolute Pour le Soir was more musky and a little skanky, but he removed all that stuff and added more resins and amber and created a really gorgeous amber fragrance. I think it's a great amber, but I still like Absolute Pour le Soir, and I have a little bit left. I'll keep that and cherish that. But on the other hand, Grand Soir is a great amber from the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian. This next fragrance, it's from the house of Papillon Perfumery, is one of my best smells ever. This is Salome. I like this one because not only does it remind me of classic fragrances, but it smells very elegant at the same time. It's also very spicy and it's skanky as well because it's got animalic notes, but it's castoreum, hyrax, cumin, jasmine, oak moss, carnation, styrax. Great, gorgeous wear, very classic, very vintage smelling, but yet modern, but absolutely amazing smell. Really great. Salome from the house of Papillon Perfumery, I think, is a great fragrance. This next one's from the house of Maître Parfumeur et Gantier. This is Ambre Perceau. Again, a great smelling fragrance, a wonderful, spicy, aromatic amber fragrance featuring notes of amber, myrrh, lavender, tolu balsam, vanilla, peru balsam, nutmeg, over-the-top amber experience. Probably one of the best amber fragrances. It would include this, it would include Grand Soir. it would include Ambre Sultan and a few others, but this is probably one of the best ambers in my book. Maybe it's not in your book, but if you like the idea of amber, definitely check out Maître Parfumé at Gantier's Ambre Presso. That is a great fragrance. This next one, oh my god, it's a more recent discovery, but it takes me back to the 80s when I was first discovering fragrances. This is Rogue Perfumery's Mousse Illuminée. What a wonderful fragrance this is. One of the best smells ever. It's kind of licoricey, boozy. It kind of reminds me of Irish Spring soap, but it's definitely a chypre style. You can experience the oak moss. It's foamy. It's, you know, like very fluffy. It's oak moss, artemisia, white flowers, cypress, olibanum, laurels, white musk, and cedar. Fantastic smell. This is probably one of the best fragrances that I've ever bought in my lifetime. It's so good. So good. And in my book, it's the best fragrance Rogue Perfumery has created. Mousse Illuminée. What a wonderful fragrance this is. I love it. I love it to death. I shouldn't say death. And last but not least, this is one of the best smells ever from the House of Memo Paris. African leather. I really love African leather. I think it's the best leather. I like its spiciness, its aromatic touches, and a little bit of a cumin spiciness in here as well. Of course it settles to a leather, but it features notes of cardamom, leather, saffron, cumin, vetiver, patchouli, geranium, oud, bergamot, and musk. I think the combination is great. They've done a great job with it. I think they've done a great job with their leather collection overall, but these seems to be very popular with everyone, and I think it's one of the better smells for me. I really like the combination of cardamom and the spices in here with the leather. So African leather as one of the best smells ever, and that's the last fragrance I'm going to talk to you about. That's 26 fragrances, guys. This will be the last video in this theme until I do more designer and feminine one, male designer, and then maybe a feminine separate video. In a few weeks I'm going to do a few other videos, but let me know what your thoughts are on these fragrances. Do you enjoy them? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Maybe you do. This is all very subjective. And then also put down what your favorite or best smells ever are. I'd like to find out. Either way, thanks so much for tuning in today. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. I'm so glad that you guys stayed over. I have one bonus fragrance. I'm doing 27 fragrances in this video. This is Bohemian Woods. It's more of a newer house, but instant love with this one again, and I think it's one of the best smells ever. So this is a very woody experience, but very resinous as well, that this kind of takes like an incense fragrance to the next level, because to me, it's lots of woods, and it also smells like it's an old church and an old library, and how the furniture and the woods in there have kind of matured and aged and have a kind of a distinct smell, you know? There's leathery touches in there. You can smell the furniture is leather, but there is something very unique in here. There's a kind of a boozy greenness running throughout it from like a licorice type of a note, but really a beautiful combination of notes to create a fragrance. It features elemi resin, woods, leather, red pepper, absinthe, iris, incense, saffron, vanilla, patchouli. Gorgeous wear. I really love the combination. As I said, it reminds me of an old library where the furniture has taken on a smell. You can smell the furniture when you walk into this room. There's leather, you can smell it, and you're in there drinking absinthe or something and smoking cigarettes and things like that. It's a great fragrance, and I love the name as well. Bohemian Woods from Atelier Oblique. So that's the last bonus fragrance for you guys. I'll see you guys very soon. Have a good one. Bye.